Hi, this is Jerry for ChallengeLifeBetter.com with
David.
And Dave has brought me a question, and it's somewhat in the form of a statement, and I'm curious what it is.
Yeah, so the statement I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts about is to love is to live, and to love well is to live forever. What do you make of that?
I think that's extremely profound. I think that's true. I think that if you find people who have never loved anyone, they've had to live a loveless life, or they've chosen to live that way, a lot of times they're in a situation where they've somewhat, and it sounds a little harsh, but they tend to only see life through their own eyes. They tend to only be interested in what they have done in their lives, and they haven't learned to give for others, to learn that giving. And I give an example. I have a relative who never had any children, and this individual has spent a lot of time just on himself, and it's gotten to the point that he does not know how to share life with anyone else, or why my wife and I would do some of the things we do with or for our children. And he's extremely, almost completely self-centered. There's nothing there for anyone else. And there's no forgiveness in his heart, because one of the things if you learn you have a deep relationship with somebody, one of the first things you have to learn to have that kind of relationship is learn how to forgive. It's just part of the secret to having a successful relationship. You can't love properly without forgiveness. And I think that the most important love that is out there is not the love of yourself, it's the love for others. It's a love for another human being, complete love for another human being, because we're designed that way. We really are designed that way. And some people who never have the beauty and the joy, not through their own misgivings, but who just are unlucky in love, sometimes redirect that to love others. I knew a lady, Miss Werner, when I was a child, who, as they used to say in those days, she's an old maid. I probably knew her when she's 45, but I was a child and she was old to me. And this woman never married. She gave everything she had to working with the little Methodist church and the children. And when she finally passed many years later, there was nothing but good that could be said of this individual. She loved everybody genuinely. And though she didn't have someone to share that with for herself, she gave her heart to everybody else, and they loved her back. Now, the saying also says to love is to live. To live well, to love well is to live forever. There are a number of societies in the world that really do believe that if you love well in your life, if you have loved well, in other words, if you found your soulmate, you have lived forever. It's a forever thing. And I think that becomes more of a spiritual journey, perhaps, depending on what cultures you're examining. But in most cases, those kind of cultures believe it goes on for eternity. So they mean you live forever if you love well. And I think that's something we should all examine in our hearts. How well do we love? How well do we love others? I was very down on myself one time, and a friend who was into New Age, in his case, total mumbo jumbo. A lot of New Age stuff is very interesting to me, but his is just way out there. And so he's telling me that I need to lighten up on myself. I need to really just go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and have a nice conversation with the man in the mirror, and everything will be just fine. I had enough of his strange comments, so I turned it back on him, and this is not to make light of anything I just said. But since I'm not a young person, I just looked at him and said, well, that would be fine, except we'd be having this conversation and the guy in the mirror would forget what we're talking about, and then where would I be? So I think loving is really the answer to longevity. There's a lot of studies that say men will live a lot longer if they have a spouse or a significant person in their lives that they share their lives with. And it's very strange because women don't seem to have that need as much as guys do. And I think it's more that they're the nurturing side of humanity. And whether the guy is there or not, they're still going to find somebody to nurture because that's their nature. And so they're going to continue on loving no matter what, even if their spouse is not there anymore. And so it's just a thought, and I'm glad you brought it up. Is there any comment you have that you've experienced or comments you have about this?
I really like that idea because I feel like it makes sense with the idea of love, possibly that feeling or that chemical reaction in your brain. I believe that process would have a lot to do with the idea of longevity and dopamine production. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. You get to the chemistry of the point, but that is absolutely true. The question would be, why do people live longer who are married? And one old man once told me, again, in a little bit of a humorous way, why does certain guys die sooner than their wives? And he said, they want to. Well, that's cynical. And I can tell you, I'm very close to being married 47 years, and I can't imagine a life without sharing my love with someone that is dear to me. It's very, very important. And as a former pastor, I enjoyed performing marriage ceremonies where people launched their lives together, and it was, to me, it was very, very exciting to see that level of caring and hope. And, so thank you for bringing that to me.
Absolutely, and thank you for your tidbit, your knowledge on that. It's very helpful.
Everybody has an opinion, I guess, but this is something I've seen up close and personal, and means a lot to me. That's just absolutely a fantastic quote. To love is to live well is to live forever. I'll leave you with that. This is Jerry.
And David.
As we always say, be well.
Be well.